Hey guys, welcome back out of the shop. As you can see, today is a big day for me. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the rest of this dismantling of the Flathead done. I have an engine hoist here in the shop finally. I took it from the neighbor's house. Hopefully I get it done before he gets back home from work. Actually, I might keep it because he left a hornet's nest in there for me that I had to get rid of first. Anyway, we need to get the Flathead up. I have it already with all the engine stand mount already attached to the back, and I had to change out the hardware twice because I didn't have the right size bolts. So now that's all good. We got the engine hoist in here. I don't have any chain to lift this up, so I'm going to be using a ratchet strap, and hopefully we don't have any accidents in here today. If so, I've got steel toe boots on. That way if I do crush my toes, they just get cleanly cut off. I think that's it. Man, that does not, I don't like that. I never like the look of how an engine stand is just holding on to the engine out there like this. But I'm hoping that it's strong enough at least to get the oil drained out, oil pan off, and then we can get some of the other stuff off. It'll lighten up the load a lot once I get that oil pan off. So this is the first look I've had with the engine up in the air at all. I've went ahead last night and sprayed all the bolts that I could find with any kind of, or the PB Blast. Just trying to get some of the stuff soaking in the penetrant. So it's pretty grimy and greasy, and I knew that. I was expecting it. So we're going to go ahead and try to get the exhaust off today, and we're going to try to get it completely done, but today is Wednesday, so we're going to try to get the exhaust off today and get some of the stuff here on the front off, and then the oil pan as well. We're going to try to get that off. We're going to start off with the exhaust, that way we get it out of the way completely, and I believe these are 5/8 inch bolts. And we'll have to do the same thing that we did before with some of these bolts, break them loose by use of wrench and hammer. Some of these aren't even 5/8, these front ones are. Yeah, this one seems like it'll come off too. And again, this was underneath the exhaust pipe, so it's not gonna get as much weather on it. So this side came out with no bolts broken on the exhaust anywhere. This was the left side, or the driver's side of the car, and then this side has 1, 2, 3, 4 bolt heads that broke off. So I've already sprayed them with a little bit of PB Blast, and they're just letting it soak right now. Gaskets need to come off. That one is off, that one's off as well. And if we walk over here, you can tell the difference in these two exhausts. This one was the one on the driver's side, and it is very solid still. This one was very rusty, and that's why the head bolts probably broke off. So with this side, we're going to probably end up needing to use a torch on it and heat those the bolts up. put a vice grip on there and try to get them out that way. And we're gonna let those soak for a little bit, work on getting that oil pan drained and off, so we can actually look at the bottom of the engine. So I found out that I don't have a socket or a wrench big enough for the oil drain plug. Thing is massive. It's like 1.25 inches or something like that big. So I'll need to get one of those. But there's this other plate underneath, and I think that it will come off and drain any oil out that's in there. If not, we're taking off nuts for no reason. It's starting to come off now. Oh yeah, that's what we were looking for. A little bit of oil. That looks fresh. That doesn't look milky or anything. Oh yeah. Plenty of oil in this old gal. Well, we need a new gasket, that's for sure. Look at that. I mean, it's not clumpy or anything like that. It's a really good sign. So let that sit there for a minute, and then we'll go ahead and get all the bolts on the outside of this thing loosened up so we can drop the pan. Ooh, there we go. Come on. Come down. Put your hand on that pipe. There we go. Oh, that was a long-awaited sight. Just to see that oil pan drop. Nice. Oop, it's dripping. Dripping some major stuff. Let's go ahead and get this thing rotated over, I think, and see what it looks like from the bottom. So we got the engine flipped upside down now, and here's a look at the bottom side of it. And even inside from the bottom, it does not look bad at all with the or any kind of sludge or anything like that. Here is the oil pan. It's surprisingly very clean, and this thing hasn't been ran for at least a known 15 years. The guy I bought it from had it for 15 years, hadn't messed with it, and he said it was his uncle's, and he wasn't sure at how long his uncle hasn't messed with it either. So this thing should fire right up. Let's just put it back together and see what happens. I'm just playing. We're going to take everything off and get the engine block to the machine shop, get it magnafluxed, make sure there's no cracks or anything in it. That is a really nice sight right here. So the other thing that I wanted to do today, besides getting off the oil pan, was get the exhaust completely taken care of, and that includes removing all these bolts. So we've got some heat. We're going to be heating these up one by one, and then I'm going to use some vice grips trying to get them turned out, possibly at the same time smacking them on the top with a hammer and helping with vibration and the heat. They should work loose. They've already had PB Blast sprayed on them for a little while. So I can't get the 2 bolts off of that one, or the 4 bolts off that side. I put some heat on 2 of them, kind of tapped them with a hammer a little bit, and they wouldn't break free. So I'm going to try to work on some other things. I got this this hose that we cut off. I got it off, and these are the water pumps right here. We're going to try to get those off of here right now as well. Try to get this hose off. Just try to do some cleanup work. I've taken a scraper and got a bunch of the debris off of here already. And you guys would be amazed at how much stuff is just falling off of here, just dirt wise, and oil and all the other junk. Years and years and years of just build up of different things. And we're gonna try to get this completely dismantled anyway. So I figured today would be a good day just to keep on trucking on this and trying to get some of this finished before we had to do anything else really on it. And I think that's a 9/16. So we'll switch over, see, yep, that's 9/16. Hopefully none of these other things have broken bolts. The exhaust, I was kind of expecting it because of how rusted that side was anyway. But we'll be able to get those drilled out, hopefully, and retap some new threads into it. And all my bolts, just for you guys that are new to this, you know, I'm new, but when I'm taking all this stuff off, I'm keeping everything together. Bolts that are coming out of this stuff is getting put in brown paper bags, and we are labeling or placing those bags with the items. So I just took out these 4 bolts. I'll get a bag and put them in here and put the right side water pump so that I don't get them confused. These look all like they should be in good condition. I can throw them in the Evaporust or wire wheel, something like that, and clean these up and keep them with them. So I've been working on trying to get that oil pump off right there, and it's not coming off. Everyone I talk to says that you just have to undo that one screw and then it should be able to turn and pry off. I got it raised up a little bit and it won't go any further. I got out one of the little gears on the inside. So it's out of the way currently of the main bearing bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it until I can concentrate a little bit better on it and try to figure out what's going on with that. Hopefully it's just in a stuck spot, but we're working on the main crank right now. I went ahead and loosened all of the bolts, and then I realized I still have to do the pistons first. So I'm going to go through, loosen up all the pistons, and give them a slight tap on the back of the threads to break them off of the crank, and then we'll get them off the rest of the way, all the ends, and then we'll be able to pull the crank right out. As I'm taking these apart, I'm trying to make sure that I see any kind of labels or anything like that and match them up together. That way if something goes wrong and I misplace something, I have it in the correct order, or I can figure out which order it's supposed to be in. And one of the cool things that I just saw while I was cleaning off of this piston rod right here is that it's actually got the number 7 labeled on the rod and the rod end. So you got like 7 there. You got 8 is labeled right here, 5 is in the front, and then 3. So these are very well labeled. There's a 3 even on the actual part right there. So I'm pretty sure there'll probably be an 8 on the end somewhere in there. So that's really neat. It's a real big help too. So let's see if there's a 7 on there. Yeah, it's hard to see, but there's a 7 right in there. So that's a big help with this aspect, because now I got like a little pattern to go by and I know exactly where to go. All of the pistons are out. Everything looks really good. Nothing got scratched up or nothing looks scratched. There's oil still on the main parts. And over here in this mess, laid out all the pistons so that they are in the same order as they came out of the bottom side. So I kind of know where I need to put them back. Like I said though, they also have the numbers on them, which is pretty nice. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. So now I believe we have to take off this front timing cover to access everything else underneath here. You can pull the crank off as well. I'm gonna try to get the crank off real quick and then pull the cover off. Alright, so we got 6 bolts that we need to take out of here. I've already broken them loose before I did the pistons. That's why they're pretty easy already to take out. And of course not. I wonder if I can give it a slight tap and it'll work. Nope. Alright, we're gonna figure out something to get those tapped off with. Alright, let's see how heavy this thing is. Oh, that's not too bad. Alright, well that wasn't bad. Man, that is really clean. I see one of the... Well, that's not even that bad.
Dad, you actually did a good job.
It's very clean to be this old.
What? When did this
So
got
now,
used?
huh?
When did this got used?
The last time it was used was over 15 years ago.
Oh.
So.
So that's like very old.
Yeah, pretty old.
I think this is like 19.
Oh, you think so?
How old it is?
That's pretty old then. So we're gonna put the caps back on. It just said they don't get lost or misplaced.
I see one magnet flipping in here.
I don't think there is anything to
Magnet
in there. Well, yeah, there's that. Don't get all dirty and smearing it on yourself.
Okay, I won't. I'm gonna just keep that on. Mom won't notice, why?
Yeah, Mom won't notice your camouflage shirt on if you get dirty. Alright, so we got a couple bolts here that we gotta take off for the main cover. Hey, grab me that drill over there.
Which one?
The one over there, the red one, in front of the sandblast cabinet.
Oh, yeah. This one, this thing. That one.
Oh, that one's dirty. Hold on, bring it over here.
Oh, God. Oh, that is metal. Oh, God.
With some of these parts and pieces that I've been taking off, I've been breaking them loose with a ratchet or a wrench, and then I'll come right back with like an impact gun or something like that and get them the rest of the way off, and it makes it a lot quicker.
What's an impact gun?
This.
Oh, that's an impact gun. Whoops.
I wonder if a slight tap will get it off.
Ooh. God, are you okay, Dad?
Yeah, I just told you not to mess anything up, and here I dropped the cover. All is well though.
Yeah.
Alright, so that needs to go with all this stuff. Here we have the timing gears and the camshaft that goes right through the middle. And we'll take those 4 bolts off as well. I think there's 4 bolts off. And these are 1/2 inch, I think. What do I got? 1/2 inch. Alright, so before we take out the cam, we have to get out all of the valves. So that's what we're going to be working on right now. And it's kind of hard to see, but with the valve, there is a clip that is in there. And you're supposed to be able to pull the clip out. And I believe that's how you disassemble the valve itself. So you need a pry bar, I believe, to move the spring down. And we're going to try this and see how well this works. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work. Or you can push up on the bottom of the spring and pop the little keepers out. We'll see if that changes and works. Day 3 now. I let this go ahead and sit overnight. I was having some issues with getting the valves out, but as you can see that I've gotten a lot of them out. I have one left right here that I need to remove. The springs and all the retainers and everything for this side of the block are completely gone. We have the lifters that are still in there, some of them. And the best tip that I can give you guys for doing this, because this is my first time with tips and tricks, my best one I can give you is to have heat. A lot of heat on hand, whether it be a torch. I'm using just a little propane torch right here. This is going to be a lifesaver between the PB blast I'm using and the heat. This stuff is finally starting to come out. It sat overnight with the PB blast, and then today I still couldn't get it to budge, and I've had to use heat on some of the keepers. And if you don't know what a keeper is, it is, hold on, I'll show you guys just one second. So your setup for your valve assembly is like so. You have your valve right here. You have your top portion of your springs assembly. You have your spring and then your bottom piece or your bottom bushing, whatever this is going to be called. And then with the flatheads, we have this retainer clip, and this was a pain in the butt trying to get out. Some of them I thought I was going to break them apart, but then again I started using heat. So the best way to do this that I have found is that you have your little keepers. I don't know how well you can see these against my dirty gloves. We have these 2 little keepers right here, and I'm going to take this all apart real quick because it'll be easier to show you guys the demonstration. So these keepers are on the valve stem like so, and they get wedged up. They go around that little groove in the bottom of the valve stem, and they get wedged up into the bottom of the spring. Well, this has been sitting around for over 15 years without being moved at all, and these were completely stuck. So the best way that I found to do it was to take a pry bar, and pry bars was a big help as well with this whole deal. Probably going to get frowned upon for using a pry bar, but I have no choice. This is my shop. This is all I have in it to use, so that's what I chose to do. So I would take a pry bar and put it on the bottom of this bottom retainer, and I would pry up the whole valve assembly so that it was sticking out sort of like this one, except this one is just stuck pretty much right where it's at. And then I would take a mallet. I have this mallet right here, and once it's up, I would pop it. And once you pop it, you're forcing the valve stem down and you're compressing the spring up, which removes the pressure off of those little keepers, and more than likely they will fall off. And then I would pry back up on the spring and it would reveal the valve stem again, open a little bit like this, and then I would get another pry bar. So I went to Harbor Freight and bought a set of 4 pry bars. So I'd get another pry bar and I'd put it underneath the valve stem and be able to pry up on the valve stem, and it would come out very easy at that point. Then once the valve stem was removed, all you're left with is this right here. So this was even worse trying to get out, and what I ended up having to do was pry the spring kind of sideways, and it would pop this part off. Then I was able to work the spring down off, and then I was left with this. And I believe that I was able to get most of the clips loose, and then I would have to take a drift to the top of the valve stem seat and knock it back through. These do not come out through the top where the valve stem goes. It goes down, so it just pops right on through, because afterwards you're left with this assembly and it would just slide right through the hole. So this was a big challenge. I still have this other side to go, but I wanted to kind of give you guys the rundown of how this all has been going, and give you guys a little bit of an update. So I'm gonna work on this side, and then we'll come back and look at getting the lifters out and the camshaft. So I got the last valve still stuck in there, and it is like not wanting to come out whatsoever. So what I'm gonna try to do is see if these vice grips will be big enough to actually clamp onto it, maybe turn it back and forth. I don't know if that's gonna be big enough. I've gotten the keepers out on it, so those are out. And I don't know if this is actually gonna be big enough to clamp onto it, or if we can even get enough on it. Might be able to get enough on it. Oh shit. I mean, shoot. We need it out a little bit further. Alright, so I've gotten it out a little bit further. And we're going to try to... There we go. Ooh, that does not feel like it. No. It's not getting around it far enough. Hey, be careful, okay? That can fling back and hit you, okay?
I know. Just so I can get it off. Get this one, get it off.
No, I think we're gonna have to get something bigger.
Say what?
I don't know.
I'm gonna try one more time. Yeah. Should I pull anymore? This thing's kind of light.
Yeah, I'd be afraid of that thing breaking too.
Yeah, that's one.
I can feel it flexing whenever I was using it.
Yeah, we can feel it works too. Just like you. Just like you.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
This one is stuck, and we don't have any like torch to cut it or anything like that.
Ooh. No, that would.
Yeah, I might try to use that.
That's like.
Try to see if it'll vibrate out.
this one too much, right? I got something found out. You?
Alright, step back. We're going to try a different tactic. We're going to try to get that vibrated
Wait,
out,
what?
okay? Alright guys, so we are trying to finish up the engine and we finally got off the last valve. Show them the valve.
This. Is
So it's still stuck in its seat, as you can see. It was very difficult to get out, but I ended up getting the camshaft out of the inside. Here, back up a little bit, Squirt. I ended up getting the camshaft out of the center area, and that gave me a chance to get to the lifter from the back side of the engine, or the inside. And you guys can see right in there, I believe. Let me see if you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I was able to get access to the lifter. The lifter wasn't stuck at all, so I was able to wiggle that out backwards. And then I looked from this side, I was able to get a small punch in there and hit the valve stem from the bottom side. And with only 2 hits, it flung out.
Yeah.
I guess because of all the penetrant heat and everything like that, it was able to just slide out pretty easy. But this is this is when it's done. It's I don't know what happened, but it's bent. I don't know if I'm the one that bent it or if it was bent and that was the cause for it to be stuck. But this valve right here is completely shot. So we are done for the most part getting this
Dad?
disassembled.
I'll be down 2 videos because I'm excited to paint this.
So we are completely done with this now. We've gotten all the valves out. The camshaft is out. The only thing that I don't have out is the oil pump. I cannot figure out how to get that thing out of there. Let me see if I can show you guys what's going on.
This is
so it's got a, let me see if I can get a good clear picture of it. It's got a gear that comes down. You guys can't really see it. But then there's another gear in there that it's hooked to. Supposedly it's just supposed to be able to twist and pull out, and for some reason it's not doing that. So I'm going to take about the next couple days trying to figure that out.
Guys,
Clean the block up as well. Get all the oil and all the other junk off of there. Try to clean it up as much as possible before it goes to the machine shop. And also we have to straighten up this shop. There is stuff everywhere.
hey guys.
Need to get some tape and stuff around those so that none of that gets nicked up.
I'm just going to tell you something, but stay tuned for the next video.
Stay tuned for the next video, right?
Yes.
So thanks guys for joining on this little adventure of tearing down a Flathead V8. It's a great experience. Kind of tricky. Some of this is like a puzzle, and it was a good experience. It was fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn with it. I've been reading a book on how to get it all disassembled and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it made it a lot easier. Do you have any final words?
Well, I'm excited.
You're excited?
Yes, I'm very excited for we to paint it and to see how it sits and see how they tried it or not. I mean, those are all my words.
Alright guys, that's the words. So thanks guys for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, hit that thumbs up button. And if you are new, hit that subscribe button. We post videos weekly. And we'll see you guys on the next one.